Hello again. So after a turbulent start and now quite some time of peace and prosperity, we decided to mass all our troops on the borders of November, and well, as you just saw, we finally declared war on him. And unfortunately, while we have a really nice defensive line with a militaristic district, he also just had this same defensive line. So to pass through to his city here, we also have to somehow get rid of his militaristic district. But in the end, it was not that bad, because when shooting on this militaristic district, I could basically farm a bit of experience points with all of my machine guns. And I say machine guns, maybe you're a bit surprised, because in the last video we arrived at the crossbow tier, but as soon as I started the war, I just got the machine gun upgrade, and within my policies I took one of the policy cards where upgrading units costs only 50% of the gold, so it was like perfect timing. So when I entered the war, shortly before I entered the war, I had the time to upgrade all the crossbows to machine guns. Now, and as you can see here, this enemy militaristic district gives me a bit of a trouble, because what Movember is doing, he's just placing his knights in this district, so I cannot attack the knights anymore, I can only attack the district, and he can just strike out of the district, possibly causing me the loss of maybe a high level unit. And it sounds not like a lot, but if you play on these high degrees of difficulty, you really have to make sure to not lose any units, because it's really important that they stack really high with their experience levels. Optimally, what you want is, at least for your range units, you want them to have a level of 4, because then they can attack 2 times. Now, and what you just saw here also is that I entered the next tier within my government. So before, I don't even remember what my tier 1 government was, but my tier 2 government is now the Merchant Republic. Usually I only go for these governments which give you a lot of those yellow politics cards. I think those are the economy cards, so in my opinion they are the strongest policy cards by far. So the Merchant Republic offers you the most of these yellow cards. Later on, the tier 3 governments, I think with the same logic, democracy is the best form of government. It once again gives you the most yellow policy cards, while for instance other governments give you more militaristic cards, like a monarchy, stuff like that. So I go with those governments with not a lot of militaristic policy cards, but that's most probably due to the fact that those militaristic policy cards are not that strong, to be honest. Okay, and you see, while I'm talking, the enemy district is pretty much down, but well, what can I do? I cannot attack the unit which is standing inside of it, so this gives me kind of a bit of a trouble. So while the war is going on, you probably saw that, like I said before, in Preslav I started the Forbidden Palace, and in general I now started building much more world wonders. It appeared like the strong start of the computer was basically over, and that I now had a real chance of getting world wonders. Now the battlefront itself looks very clean, to be honest. I had to reload a couple of times, so maybe there are some breaks in the video where I loaded, so I cut all these loading screens out of the video. I don't want to bore you. But it looks very easy, but for me, I had to reload a couple of times. You see here, for instance, a unit is dropping very low, and I mean, you can say this is a bit lame. But if you play on these high levels of difficulty, I mean, I use every dirty trick, so I don't really care, so I just want to beat the computer. And the problem is the computers always have this power to come back. They have these insane advantages. I mean, on Immortal, it's pretty lame what they have and what you don't have, but on Deity it's even one step further, and like I said, so far I've never beaten Deity. I think the step from Emperor to Immortal is pretty intense already, but the last step from Immortal to Deity, it's just unbelievable hard. And even on a great map like this one, it's just so hard to beat it. So maybe I do some strategic missteps. I most of the time start with religion. But I tried out even starting with campuses, campus districts, so basically scientific districts. Didn't really help me a lot. So I really don't have a clue how to beat Deity yet. So maybe you just need a really superb starting position, a really superb map, and then it might work out. So that's how it worked out for me in Civ 5. But in Civilization 6, I don't know, I don't come even close to beating Deity. So maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I'm not sure. So far I think I play pretty solid, but still so too hard to beat. But I mean, I really like it that they put such a challenge in a game, because it would be boring if Immortal would be the last level of difficulty. I mean, it's very hard, but for me, I can beat it most of the time. But Deity so far, the step from Immortal to Deity, like I said, really insane. So now concerning our combat right here, you see I finally conquered the district, and well, basically technologically I'm ahead of Movember. You see right here he brings his first machine gun before he just had knights. Now knights of course are no match for machine guns. Just think of it like in a historical setting. Just imagine there comes a horde of knights and just a guy with a machine gun, he would just nuke away all those knights. So of course I was in a high advantage. And of course I have a positional advantage. I positioned all these machine guns, so basically it was kind of a blitzkrieg. Went in with my whole army, highly upgraded units, so he had a really hard time to defend. Now in a last effort to defend, he also sent a settler towards me. I don't know, the artificial intelligence sometimes does really stupid things. But well, okay, I just captured the settler, and you maybe just saw it. I sent him really to the far northeast, to the coast, and there I will just settle down and build another city. Now while we have already met all the guys from my starting continent, so it's basically Cleopatra, Egypt, Brazil, and Movember, sorry. Now we also met some guys from the other continents. So we met here the Greeks, and as you can see, they are always concerned about the city-states. So if you want to send an envoy to one of their controlled city-states, they get really angry and aggressive with you. But there are two different leaders for Greece. I think one is this guy. This is more of a philosophical guy, and then there is also a lady. She's Spartan, and they have kind of a different play style. So he's more like let's go push the city-states and get benefits for it, and she's more like let's do war, kill units, and get culture by killing units. So in the meantime, the fortifications of the city are basically broken down, and it's just a matter of a couple of turns 1 or 2 turns until I capture this city. Or will it even happen this turn? We will see. Yeah, and you see I even brought a bombard. So it's the first, well, it's the second tier of artilleries. I think the first tier are catapults. Then there comes the bombard, and then there come the real artilleries. I think the bombards at this point, they are not that great because you have to move them before you can attack. But well, anyways, they do a lot of damage to city walls. So just for the lulz, I built one of those bombards. And yeah, we captured the first city. And now, I guess, since it gets a bit repetitive, I will just skip to the siege of the second city. And you can see here, basically no problem. I just moved all my units to the left side. And yeah, Movember didn't have any units left. Only thing he had left was once again another settler. So wanted to threaten me with the settler. No, but well, taking this second city was not a big problem as well. It was just a small city, had some nice luxuries, I think, but yeah, it just needed the city to progress. Now the really worthy, the really valuable cities, they are in the south of me because, as I told you, I didn't build any world wonders. And as you can see right here, after I moved my units down and revealed some of the areas, here we can see even a couple of world wonders, I think. For instance, to the right you can see there is the pyramids, and a bit south of the pyramids there is even the Petra. And of course the Petra combined with desert tiles, really great. But it turned out that the city to my right was very hard to engage due to this river, and I don't know why, but I kind of had a blocked vision, so it was really hard for me to attack the city. So pretty much it was unconquerable for me at the moment, or at least very hard. I would have lost quite a lot. So I preferred going for this left city because even though it was also hard to conquer, there were a lot of farms. And if you siege a city, you can salvage these, you can destroy these farms and heal your unit up to full life once again. So basically, even though the city was heavily fortified, you see it takes really long to strike through these fortifications, but well, in the end it was possible. I was able to take the city. And while the city didn't have the Petra and the pyramids, it still had a great world wonder. If you see, if you look at the right of it, there is this Colosseum, and the Colosseum gives to all surrounding cities happiness. And if you look around, there are quite a lot cities in the close proximity, so the computer tends to build all its cities close to each other. So basically the Colosseum at this position is not a bad world wonder, and it helps me a lot because at this time of the game I had so many cities, and I had war for such a long time that some of my cities gradually transitioned into a state of unhappiness. So like I said, the Colosseum was not a bad world wonder to capture. Well, but the city fortifications yet had not been broken, but even in my own mainland I made some progress in terms of world wonders. I told you that I just for the lulz started creating the Forbidden Palace, also a really great world wonder, in Preslav. So Preslav is this little city surrounded by tundra, and I really didn't anticipate that I would finish this world wonder. But I had so many cities, so I just said, okay, let's risk it. Even if I don't finish, I just waste a bit of production in this little city. But to my whole surprise, to my total surprise, Preslav finished the Forbidden Palace. And now you can see what the Forbidden Palace is doing. It basically adds a Joker policy and this is basically one of the best things you can have. So you can just take an additional, yeah, Joker card, and these cards, they are really insane. For instance, they can give you plus 100% science output, stuff like that. So they are really strong. So getting this Forbidden Palace is a really big upgrade. Okay, now I once again skipped 1 or 2 turns, and you see this is the last turn of the resistance, and here we go, we get the city, and we also conquer the Colosseum, so it's great, and it's really needed. If you look, there are already some unhappy cities surrounding our battlefield, and well, out of a sudden Brazil declared war on me, and this was quite annoying because this is the thing which really can get you at the wrong time. So pretty much, my army was completely on a different side, and of course I could ignore Brazil. They don't have the strongest army, but if I would just ignore them, they would just ride into my districts and destroy all my districts. I think the punishment you get from just single units storming into your area is a bit too hard. They just can walk on your tile where your district is, and just all the buildings on your district are destroyed. So instantly after Brazil declared war on me, I moved my army to the east, and I thought, well, okay, let's make peace with Movember and go to defend against Brazil. Unfortunately, I didn't get a good bargain out of this peace treaty, but whatever. I didn't have the time to keep the push, and I had to go defend against Brazil.